Hey guys, welcome back to OverTakes. This is Misfit.
And I'm Kel.
And we are here with our...
Update? Like, kind of an update, because we don't really even have a week, possibly.
We'll call it...
on how things are playing out.
Our potential Week 6 preview?
Yeah.
Slash updates. All right, guys. So, thanks a lot for joining us. Everybody on YouTube, thank you very much. Please hit a like and a subscribe. That would be great. Anybody in podcast land, thank you very much for all the listens and all the stuff you guys do for us. Let's start talking. Obviously, we've had a lot of news today just around esports, regular sports, and, life in general if you live in the United States or in North America and in Europe as well. A lot of things have happened. So let's dive into it. Obviously, we're talking about the coronavirus and the implications that have happened in the last probably 10 to 12 hours with Overwatch League. So somewhere, I think it was around, 4:30 or 5, the league decided to cancel all homestands basically for the rest of the first half of the season.
Yeah, so through all March and April, as of right now, the homestands are canceled. The games are still going to be played, but as far as when and how those games are going to be played and how that's all going to be shaking out is up in the air.
Yeah.
I will be shocked if we get games this weekend at this point, just because they got to get things set up. They have to make sure that they can get these guys on reliable internet everywhere, because that's the big thing is now we have pretty much all international flights are canceled and suspended. And then what else? I think domestic flights are probably going to be getting kind of iffy too, and I would not be shocked if those get shut down in the next couple of weeks as well. Yeah,
and I was going to say, I don't know about train travel. It's basically like, the same thing as going in a, pardon me, the same thing as going in a plane, but even driving across the Canadian border and things like that.
Right.
There's a lot of iffy things, and it's understandable. This is,
Although, if you're going to try to take a train in the U.S., you're better off just taking a bus.
You might as well fucking walk.
Our train system is garbage.
Yes. Europe, I'm jealous of you. Oh, your train system's amazing. I used it throughout Italy, and it was amazing. Here, not so much. The country that invented train travel doesn't know how to use it.
Yeah.
Well, anyway. But yeah, so... It's kind of like I had tickets to go to Toronto. I'm really bummed out. Don't know if I can go in August. But, they sent out a statement that you're guaranteed a seat in the August homestand. I don't know what the other teams are doing. They're going to update a lot of stuff. But this is a pretty serious thing. We were kind of we were on board with, this is not like a, this isn't a cold going around kind of thing. And people are a little paranoid, but we've seen what happened already over here. So we're kind of taking precautionary steps, which I'm okay with. I'm okay with it. It also, in regular sports, guys, if you haven't seen the news, the NBA suspended everything because one of their players actually tested positive.
Yeah, Rudy Gobert.
Yeah.
It's tested positive for it, and...
he's a player for the Utah Jazz.
And, if you know the NBA at all, that's probably a name you know. That's a big deal. As far as Overwatch League equivalent, I would say probably it would be a star on a pretty good team. So,
someone like a Space or a Surefour or something like that.
Absolutely.
On that level. The thing is you can't predict how this virus is going to work.
Right.
Other viruses have been around forever, but we know how to control them. Don't know how to control this thing yet.
Right. And because it's a new strain and there's always new strains, you're always going to be behind. And because this is spreading so fast, that's why it's such a worry.
And the symptoms aren't there, and then all of a sudden they're there. It's not like when you get the flu and you got this, ooh, I feel crappy, ooh, and then it just builds up into this thing. This is you're fine one day, and the next day you have 103 fever, and your head feels like someone's hitting you with a hammer.
So looking at the website, literally every game from week 6 to 15 is no longer on the schedule.
Yeah.
As of right now.
So basically, to the All-Star break is week 14. So week 15 in Paris is going to be your next potential homestand where there's actual live games that are going to have fans there.
It's actually Philly and Dallas in week 16.
I thought they had...
Oh, wait, no, 15.
15 or 14, I thought.
Oh, it's week 14. You're right.
Like May 9th or something like that.
Yeah, it's week 14, which is May 9th. And that's still pretty tentative right now. I will not be shocked if this thing is not contained within the next couple of weeks. We could see further delays and such. So
as far as fan involvement, and this isn't unprecedented, guys. It's not like them trying to pull a thing so the league doesn't shut down. The NCAA tournament is playing literally in empty arenas except for family.
I mean, the fact that the NBA is suspending all play right now, altogether, that is massive news. Like, that is effective immediately. Like, today was the last game of the NBA. We're going to see for who knows how long. And
they're in their stretch run, getting it ready to ramp up for the playoffs and all that.
They're gearing up they're in the last 5 weeks of the season. They're gearing up for playoffs. Like, that is not something you do.
Yeah.
Just to like be precautionary or whatever. Like, that is not a decision you make lightly.
Yeah. And like, we haven't heard anything from the NHL, but I'm sure they're not far behind.
Yeah.
Major League Baseball, same thing.
Yep. The NBA usually is just they're the fastest on that, and the fact that they have a player that's infected now, definitely impacts that.
Also impacts how many games has he played in the last 4 or 5 days. You have, on average, we're going to say, because the attendance has dropped. You got 15,000 people in these arenas, plus the 24 players, coaches, referees, camera crews, all these other people that potentially were exposed to it. Mm-hmm. This sounds like CNN right now.
Yeah.
I'm not happy about it, but it's something we got to kind of address and talk about.
It has to be addressed. I mean, there's like we literally can't even talk about the games right now because we don't know when the next games are going to be played, what games are going to be played next. Yeah. The silver lining that we can get from this is that it might, if everybody is forced to play the rest of the season on LAN, we might have some, or not on LAN, on like online.
We'll have some West Coast games too.
We can finally get some of the other teams, the Pacific teams. That's like the one good thing we might get out of this. But yeah.
Yeah. We'll see some Overwatch League, and we're going to be here. Mm-hmm. We're not planning on going away. We're going to talk about, what's going on, stuff like that. Play some matches, stuff like that. Maybe we'll try and get together and have some game nights with some people and do some maybe we'll try and do some charity stuff.
Yeah, no one's allowed to leave their house, really, so got plenty of time to play Overwatch.
Watch us motherfuckers play. I don't know if you want to do that. Maybe you can watch us play Diabolical and watch me feed in that game. Mm-hmm. We can just have a continual... You play well and watch me feed. But that aside, I mean, we're going to do stuff, maybe we'll do some, live, watch party kind of things. Everybody's online. So, we'll guys get together on, we'll do it on Twitch and YouTube, and we'll talk about the matches while they're happening, and kind of create an environment. Going to make the best out of what we can make out of this. It's frightening and weird, and kind of Cal and I are in retail. Mm-hmm. We come in contact with a lot of people, so it's an uneasy feeling going into work a little bit.
Yeah, and unfortunately, because of the type of retail we're in, there's little to no chance of us not.
Yeah, we deal. We're in the grocery business, so
we're not close.
We'll be there.
Yeah, and hopefully, if anybody gets infected, they don't fucking come to work.
Yeah. Well, you don't see. The thing is, you don't know.
Yeah, and that's the problem with retail. But enough of that's getting a little too much. But yeah.
But just be aware. We're going to be here. You know what? As community of, fans and stuff, when these matches are on, it's a good way to take even though we can't be there live, we get to watch them.
Yeah.
We'll get to experience it. Unfortunately, NBA fans can't.
Right. They don't even get that part.
Yeah. For the moment. But, let's make the best out of it. It's a horrible situation. It's a good way to get your mind off of it. So when these matches are on, let's have fun with it. I mean, you got to turn the negative part into the positive and say, hey, we got this. This can, it takes your mind off of all the craziness and all that stuff. And we have the opportunity to watch something, take our mind off it, and have fun with it. So, we'll be here to provide some entertainment for you guys, at least a little bit during the break and while these matches are being played online.
Right. And I just thought of something. It actually makes it just a little weird thing for you. Had you not had your car issues you did today, we would have had a very different show recorded for today.
Yeah. We're recording late at night because this afternoon I was going to get one tire repaired and my other tire blew out. Yeah. It was that kind of morning. And they also told me I had to get new brakes. So the day started off with a bang. Well, literally. And get on the freeway and you hear that noise. That's never fun. But we would have just been talking about the matches and saying, well, Paris got canceled.
Right.
But here we are after all this stuff, so we can at least talk to you guys about that. We're going to do something. We're going to talk about the hero pool and the potential effect on the matches that were going to be played in Florida.
Yes. Well, I mean, I think we can talk that and then just kind of maybe talk. Yeah, let's just talk about the teams and how it might affect them, because I do believe that will stay the same. Obviously, the matches are going to happen at some point, and I can't imagine they would just be like, well, we're going to change the hero pool just because we can.
Yeah.
That's not changing. So at least that's something we can at least discuss.
Yeah, and I think these teams are already gathered in Florida, so they might be doing a land thing with them just because they're all together already.
Right.
They're all there. We might not see it on Saturday and Sunday. It could be Monday and Tuesday. It could be Sunday and Monday. We don't know what's going to happen. They could all play them all on Sunday. Who knows? Yeah. But we figured, hey, let's just talk about it like everything is semi-normal.
Right.
for you guys. Because, let's just have fun with it. Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's start talking about that. All right, our hero pool this week. We have, out of the hero pool, we have Winston, Sombra, good old Legs, and Lucio. So that's it limits a lot of, they're kind of like key components to certain comps that you kind of want to run.
Right. It's kind of all over, because each one is like a key component of a different major comp. Like, not having Winston, you can run a dive, but it's a very different dive.
And it's not a very effective one.
Yeah, it's not nearly as effective without the Winston. Because the zoning that he creates with his shield.
And the cleave damage and all that. Mm-hmm. I mean, you're isolating targets, really, with Wrecking Ball Diva.
Right.
You don't have that. Okay,
I think they can work with, and they can make something happen, but... Yeah. But then at the same time, by getting rid of Lucio, your death ball comps are gone. There's no reason to even try to run our death ball comp because it's just going to be pointless.
You can run Rhine comps, but you can't
even run that. You can't. Rhine is a tough play right now with this. You're almost, if you do play Rhine, it's probably going to be Rhine Sigma or Rhinorissa?
You could run Rhine Diva.
Or Rhine Diva, yeah.
I wouldn't be afraid of the Rhine Diva. It doesn't have the speed.
Yeah.
That's what I'm afraid of with Sigma.
Rhine Diva. Yeah, they have been running some Rhine Diva. I think, Sigma's probably just he's just worthless right now.
Well, it's because he's so slow. With the Lucio, you have that he can kind of get out of situations.
Right.
You know, if he gets zoned and you have a Lucio, he isn't like floating around like a fucking half-deflated Mylar balloon after a birthday party. You know, just kind of like, I'm just going to die now. He's like a tick faster than Zen.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's going to be weird. Definitely no soldier kind of impacts that.
We're definitely going to see what Atlanta ran. A lot of that, I think.
Yeah.
As much as I want to see Rhine Diva, you need that Lucio to push the Rhine into the Diva's face and like kind of run over him.
Right.
I think we're going to get a lot of that Orisa Diva kind of thing going on.
Or if you do get Rhine, I think it's going to be Rhine Orisa.
Yeah. I mean, you probably see some people try Rhine Diva, and it might work, depending on the team.
And you might... I don't know if we'll see... I think we could see a little bit of Brig, but I don't think she's going to be that effective with this type of comp.
Yeah.
With the double shield, she's not that great. You need more of a brawly comp where you're running more divey a little bit. Divey, brawly, but like just like shooting at shields, like she's basically worthless in a comp like that.
Yeah, the only thing she's good for is peel.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, if you got a Winston diving on you or Diva, like that kind of thing, that's when she's a lot better and can be a lot more effective.
Because I
just don't see a lot of her being played. I think it's probably gonna. I feel like we're definitely going to see a lot of Anna.
Anna Zen, but the
maybe
shields,
Anna Zen.
Depending on what you're running, Mercy in some spots.
There might be some Moira.
Yeah, you're probably going to see a lot of Moira just because of the burst healing and the what she can do, and she can escape. She kind of can take care of herself. I think it's going to be a lot of what we saw in the Stage 4 last year, just because it's comfortable. Mm-hmm. Well, for some teams it's comfortable. Some teams can't run that, period.
Right.
They're just going to be lost. DPS-wise, I think we're going to see a lot of the May Reaper. McCree. Sombra provided the assist with Doomfist.
Yeah, we might see with all the shields, we might see a decent amount of Doomfist just because he works really well against those types of comps.
But the Sombra helped enable that to an extent with the EMP. But
I still think you can run some Doom without Sombra being in there. It's just what you play along with that. Maybe some Hanzo for the shield break. You're definitely going to need some shield break of some type, so probably Hanzo.
Yeah, I mean, Hanzo's going to be your... Hanzo, maybe you run Hanzo McCree.
Yeah. We might see some BAP in there, too.
Yeah.
On support, I think he provides some good shield break as well. Yeah. And
there's a good possibility to see more this week than you did last week. Just for the simple fact, if they're... Just to counter the... like if they do the Reaper May, it's a good counter to that because you don't have any hit scan, and unless they run a BAP and a Diva, but you got to be high level to take care of that, or trash Boston style Pharah play.
Yeah,
I'm not singling anybody out in that whole comment there at all. Make sure you run Sigma with that.
Yeah. No kidding.
And not a Diva to kind of keep the other Diva at bay. But, you know. Jake molding somewhere on the planet right now, as I mentioned that. That's side note. Jake angry is one of my favorite things in the world.
Oh my god, that was so great.
He's like, we work with this guy that used to get angry like him.
Yeah. Yes.
He was like such a good guy, but like he would get angry and he would still have the smile. Like, why would you do that? I don't understand this.
We don't do that here, sir.
Yeah.
Still one of my favorite moments working at that store.
Grabbed the food away from her. Went out to the guy eating the chicken wings off the hot bar.
Yeah.
We don't do that here, sir.
We don't do that here, sir. I've never seen a man move that fast.
Especially him.
Right. Not that he was like a big guy, but he was like, he is not the most in shape guy.
No.
And like, in literally a split second, he was about 30 feet away from where he was.
Yeah.
Like, never seen someone move that fast. It was like he teleported.
Yeah.
Weird because he like didn't even run. He just like he fast walked.
Yeah.
That fast.
He like fast walked. Like, you ever see that, like, that meme? Is that like Arthur that had his fist clenching?
Yes, exactly.
The glasses and everything.
Starts eating when the customer starts eating food straight off the hot bar.
Yep.
That's the
We don't do that here, sir.
Oh, God.
But speaking of teleport, though, that brought up a good point that I wanted to bring up. We probably, instead of, like, the speed boosting, we're going to see some, I think we're going to see on control, we're definitely going to see some Symmetra to get people in and out fast, or in fast. We saw them kind of doing it where they were setting the teleporter up out of the spawn and then switching out of the Symmetra. I think we're going to see that some more. And plus, if there's double shield, she's still pretty fucking good against that.
Yeah.
It's going to be kind of like the first 2 weeks with some variation, I think.
Yeah, that seems about right.
I think we're going to see a little bit more of what Atlanta did. I don't think we're going to see like the Torbs and that kind of stuff, because that just does nothing except for feed ults.
Right.
When you're running double shield. But all right, let's go into theoretically what teams it could affect this week and how they're going to go. I think Atlanta is going to have an up week just because they've been running the bunkerish comps.
It definitely favors them.
Yeah, for sure.
Hang on 1 second. I need to find where I can actually get this schedule.
Go on, buffed up at. They still have the bet. They still have the wagers up. Side note. Atlanta plus 143 against New York is a good bet. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Potentially when these matches start, obviously we're going to tell you guys the lines and do what we've been doing for the last few weeks.
We're going to have to wait until we actually know when these games are being played and how that's all going to work out. So expect that
we're kind of running
when the games actually are about to be played and we get more info.
Yeah, but we're going to run situation normal for right now and give you kind of what we think.
Yeah.
And, if it changes, if they decide, hey, we're going to run the week 2 Guangzhou thing first and catch all those guys up before we run these guys.
Right.
We'll be there for that. We'll figure something out.
Right. So, New York, Atlanta. Atlanta with a plus 143. That's really tempting.
Yeah. I'm going to put this on the table, and keep that money sitting there until this match goes off, because I think it's going to be good.
Yeah.
But I think the teams that it's going to affect positively are Atlanta. I think Paris as well. I think Paris will be okay.
Yeah, I think this is going to help it's going to help Paris maintain what they've been up to.
Yeah.
Because this just favors their style.
They like the slow, grindy stuff they practiced, kind of not meta-slavey, but, they can kind of, something that they've worked on for a long time, they're good. Even though they adapted in the second match of the week, I don't think Philly was they were kind of like not ready for what was going to happen.
Yeah. Also, you don't have to suffer through Ben Best trying to play
Winston.
So that helps them a lot.
See, that's good coaching, though. They said, all right, let's put Soon and No Smite in. Things you don't think of in this league. Coaching matters.
Yeah, right.
I think the teams that's going to hurt, I think New York and I think Florida. Maybe London. London's weird, though. I just I don't have a grasp on London, so I can't say anything otherwise.
Yeah, it's really tough to even know with London at this point. Because
Philly, they usually, if they're going to run Orisa, they've been running Poco on Orisa. So you might see
with London, I feel like it might benefit them just because they don't all these young guys, they don't really have a set thing that they're used to yet. So it might actually do better for them to be constantly relearning a thing, because now they don't like it'll help them get better in the future. I don't think it's going to help them against Philly all that much, just because Philly's just a really well coached team.
I think they'll make it close, though.
Yeah, I think they'll make it closer than we thought.
But like, I think Florida, they're not good with that Arissa kind of comp.
Mm-hmm.
In my mind. So if they run anything, they'd run Ryan Arissa, which would be Fate and Karayan.
Yeah.
And that was kind of scary. I didn't like that when they did it before. Who knows it? They might, but that being said, they are more practiced on the other teams with the Brig Anna strat, because they were running that quite a bit because Chris is dog shit on Lucio.
Yeah.
But I still think it's not going to benefit them this week.
Yeah.
Obviously, the second match is going to matter. Boston could come out and play whatever the meta is and still fuck it up.
Fair.
I don't care what people say that there's good players on their team. Yes, there are. There were good players on Florida in year 1 and year 2. Mm-hmm. That's all I'm getting at. We know who the coach is of Boston. Same coach.
Yeah.
But the other teams are kind of up in the air to me. There's like New York is not to New York. They're not good at these kind of things. Because if you remember in like Stage 4 last year, they were kind of wonky when they had to run when they were running like the Arissa comps and with the Doomfist and all. They were so reactionary that because you have to be aggressive to do anything in this league anyway. But on that comp, you have to, especially if you're doing something weird like running a Doomfist, you have to be the aggressor. You can't, all right, let's wait and see what they're going to do and react to that, because by that time you're done. But
it's man, I don't know. It's going to be, I think really these teams, I think teams that are going to be not great for it, Toronto is going to really struggle. With this.
I didn't even bring them up.
Not that Toronto's not already struggling.
Washington and them are on the same level with this kind of comp that's probably going to get run.
Yeah, I still would pick Washington just because I have lost all faith in Toronto right now. Until they prove otherwise, they are a bottom tier team.
Yeah, which is unfortunate because I was kind of excited about who they had and what was going on, but they're in shambles right now.
They really
and
are.
I thought they would have been a lot more adaptable.
Yeah, and it seems like they can really only run dive, and even that has not been going so well lately.
When other teams know what you're running, they don't. It doesn't seem to work as good. Because once Philly figured out what they were doing, they beat them in the last map, and they got absolutely murdered by Florida.
Yeah.
They have such good players. They're getting on my nerves like Houston sometimes.
I know, right? It's really frustrating. Like, they should be so much better than they are. But it's just not.
And you can't just pin it on one single thing and say, like, oh, well, Beast isn't playing well. The whole team is not playing good.
Yeah, it's just bad all the way around.
Maybe outside of Kariv.
Maybe.
Because he had moments where it was just like, I don't know if he was even, trying to do too much kind of thing.
Yeah, and even, Kariv has not looked like his normal self this year. Because, you put him on Anna last year, and he was just a god.
Yeah.
And he is just not playing at that same level that he is. And I don't know where the full blame goes on this team. I feel like it has to be coaching because they're just...
Yeah, and it's easy to say, well, Calyx isn't that great, and Beast isn't playing up to where he should be, but their DPS is not performing what it should be performing at either. Logic's, other than a few times, has been okay.
Right.
In fact, they've lost most of the maps he's played on.
Yeah.
Surefour's been okay. He's had moments where he popped off, like he was like lit when he was playing against Carpe. But when, much like when he was on the Gladiators, when all the chips are on the table and every cliche you can throw into it,
Right.
Nothing happens. And Agilities is okay. You know, he's not great. He has, much like the rest of the team, they've had moments, but they're not moments together where it matters.
Exactly.
But yeah, the rest of the teams, like, I have no handle on. Like, I want to say Paris and Florida are kind of a wash in that match.
I think so too. I don't know. I think once again, it's going to just come down to the good teams are still going to be good.
Yeah. And I think this week, Atlanta's the team that's got the best.
And I
feel like that could happen.
Like after all the things that came out, like there was articles written about the hero pools and how some of these coaches are reacting to it and all that. And it's like, yeah, it's stressful for them now, but that's going to be the case with any kind of change. Like they don't have systems for such a thing yet. And that's going to be where the good coaches really start to separate.
Yeah.
Because
where you
good coaching is so vital to being able to make these adjustments and being able to properly figure out how you're going to approach these things.
Right. And the good coaches do good things like Paris. All right. The Soon Nico thing didn't work on day one. We got absolutely annihilated by Houston. What can we do to change this? All right, let's put in No Smite and Soon because we're going to have to run double hit scan. Philly, they were getting owned early and then they changed their game plan, at the second part of that match. Mm-hmm. And,
exactly.
It's stuff like that. And that's going to come into play. And, it's going to become easier once you have done this a few times or a couple of times when you go, okay, when Ryan's out, we play this. When Winston's out, we do this. When Arissa's out or whatever, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Soldier out, doesn't matter.
Right. And those things will take time for them to adjust to, but it'll calm down. And that really is the big thing. It's going to be a big separator is the teams that can adjust are the teams that are going to do well. And that's just the bottom line.
And the teams, and I think what the coaches need to stress to their teams is flexibility.
Yeah.
Look, we're going in with this game plan.
Mm-hmm.
If it doesn't go right, let's not be afraid to try something.
Exactly. I think there was an article that came out this weekend talking about, which was really fascinating. I highly recommend you guys check it out. It was about the coaching approach that Philly has been taking this year and how it's worked out so well for them. And a big reason of why they're playing as well as they do is instead of doing team VODs, they're doing personal coaching and approaching that in the sense of like, here's what your job needs to be. And I don't understand why that wasn't a thing before. If we're being real, like that's literally coaching is
exactly
making sure your guys know what their job is and making sure they execute it. Yeah, there's going to be times where you need to everyone on the same page about different things, but if the guys don't know what their individual jobs are, then you're setting yourselves up for failure.
Yeah, and depending on the meta, like last week, all right, Carpe, we want you to do everything, that you do. Just go in there and play Tracer and wreak havoc. And then just set it up from there. But if it deteriorates and we can't run this, let's try and run X. And if they're playing this, run Y. They got to instill that into their players, and some teams do that.
Right.
And the coaches also can't be afraid in between maps to go, okay, this isn't working. He's getting owned. Let's try X player because he can play this and this, which could counter that what they're doing. Mm-hmm. There's got to be a more fluid. The games are not going to be they're going to be more chaotic because people aren't playing it. I know a lot of people want them to play, if they play the same meta, it has more of like this artistic fucking waxing on about the shit. Play what you can play and play it well. Mm-hmm. In hero pools is going to work better than trying to do a set strategy sometimes.
Exactly.
But the coaches got to tell them if X happens, they got to be able to coach the chaos, which you can do.
Mm-hmm.
You got to give them the variable. All right, if X happens, go Y. If Y doesn't work, you need to go here. You know, if soldier's not working, maybe you need to try Hanzo, or let's try this or that, or like the tanks are pretty well set. Like when you go into a strategy, well, pretty much. Okay, Diva's in.
Right.
It's just one of those things. I want them to get a little bit more adaptable. Maybe if there's a little bit of a break, they can kind of figure that out.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
All right, guys. That is going to do it for our pseudo week 6 preview. Thank you all for joining us. Thanks to everybody on YouTube who's been, commenting, watching videos, talking with us and all that kind of stuff. Thank you very much. And if you're new on YouTube, please hit a like, hit a subscribe, hit the alert bell, tell you when we're on. We stream every Sunday night with the Sunday Back Cap. We do a preview show on Thursdays. Fridays we do a pick show. Obviously things are going to be up in the air, but and all of our social media links are down below. Definitely go on those and follow us and check us out. We'll let you know when we're on, because we could be playing games. We could be talking about Overwatch League in general. We could be doing who knows what in the next couple of weeks until these matches start back up, or if they start up on Saturday, we'll be here. We'll say watch social media to see what Sunday night's going to happen. What's going to happen Sunday night. Mm-hmm. If there are no matches, we're probably not going to stream our normal back cap show. Yeah. If there are matches, we will. Exactly. We could just be on playing playing the video games. Something. Could be playing Diabolical, because it's it's the last closed beta weekend. We have keys, and we want to play. But yeah, just keep that in mind.
Is this the last weekend on that?
Yeah, it's the last weekend on that one.
That's a bummer.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be 4.
Yeah, we missed one. And then you missed last week. Well, maybe there is another one after this.
So I think there's one more.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It goes all the way through March.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, 2 weekends you could have us playing Diabolical. Who knows? Nice. On that note, guys, thank you very much for watching. Everybody. Oh, also, everybody in Podcast Land, thank you. Also, bear in mind, we have a Patreon page. Check that out. You can subscribe to that. We're going to throw some new stuff up here and there. I've been working on a little bit. My day was a little more chaotic than planned. Yeah. Shit happens. You just roll through it. I'm doing a little thing with the Philly-Paris match where I'm going over the last map. And there are some interesting things. One of which, Soon's a creepy little fucker. Sneaky little bitch. I will show you guys that. Probably throw that up on Patreon. I might, for the first couple of weeks I do, I might just throw up on YouTube and see. And headshot. Didn't turn my phone off. This is what we were talking about in the last episode when I said voice actress from that plays Widowmaker heard that. And everyone's like, Widow, are you shooting people on from the stage? That noise. Anyway. All right, guys. You guys have a good weekend. Stay safe. We will talk to you later, and have a good night.
Catch you guys in the next one. Later.